Hey team, Major Foe here. July 1943, turn 15 for the USA. Start with the tech rolls. Heavy bombers, 9 or above. That's a 1, that's a miss. Advanced subs, 8 or above. 6, that's a miss. Advanced anti-submarine warfare. 10, that's a hit. So that goes to stage 1. Strategic rockets. 3, that's a miss. Radar, 7 or above. 6, that's a miss. Heavy battleships, 7 or above. 1, that's a miss. And attack transports, 8 or above. 12. Oh, shocking. That one finished. Okay, our buys. $89. So we pay $3 to roll for Peru, 4 for a fleet carrier to go to stage 1, 4 for a heavy cruiser for stage 1, 8 for 2 fleet carriers to stage 2, 15 for 3 fast battleships to stage 2, 12 for a jet fighter, 6 to lend lease a transport to the Anzac, 12 for another jet fighter, 4 for 2 militia, and another 4 for 2 militia upgrades, $4 for just a battleship to stage 3, lend lease the Russians 3 IPP, and I have $10 for 2 US Marines. Now that I have attack transports, they're 9, so that's $8. So we'll change these out for 2 Marines. And instead of the $6 I spend on that transport, I'll spend 8 on, oops, Anzac attack transport. And that will be $89. Okay, we'll roll for Peru. We were interdicted again by the subs on convoy raid, so we need a 4 or less. And that's a 7. Thank you, Google. That's a 7, so that misses. We'll go to our combat movements. So this fighter will go on combat air patrol and attack one of these subs. We will take the 7th Fleet 1, 2 into Sardinia. The attack bomber will join the 6 units on the transports. The 2 jet fighters will also participate. And the 2 battleships, the coastal defense ship, the 2 heavy cruisers, and one of the light cruisers will participate in shore bombardment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units for that. Okay, and then our other attack will be in the Marshall Islands. 1, 2, 3. A battleship will come down. Another battleship will come down. 2 transports from a port can move 1, 2, 3. And with them, they'll take 2 Marines and infantry and a mountain break, well, and another infantry. Okay. We have a jet fighter and 2 tactical bombers. Can fly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they have 6 movement. The 2 carriers will move down and then land on the carriers. That is all of the combat movement I'm doing. So we'll start with, oops, with the Maritime Air Patrol. We need a 6 or less, and that's a 1. So one of those subs is eliminated. They don't get to fire back, and they don't have a choice. I've got the battle set up down here, so the first battle will be with the 6 pot shots, first strike. So light cruiser at 1, 2 heavy cruisers at 2, coastal defense ship at 3, and 2 battleships at 4. First strike. So it looks like we've got a 2, that's 1 hit, and a 1, so that's 2 hits. So I would assume he would take his airborne and infantry, and then we will do air superiority. I have 2 jet fighters at 8 or less, and that's 2 hits, and I would assume he would lose his transport plane and Italian fighter. And then I have a medium bomber at 7, and that's an 8, so that's a miss. 1 cavalry at 3, that's a 2, so that's a hit. Into mountains, -1, so that should be a 3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 infantry, 2 marines at a 1. I'll just roll that just to make sure. And we had another hit. So that should take the last plane. So the 2 pot shots are first strike, so they don't get to shoot back. It's possible the transport plane might have been selected, so I'll actually roll the infantry as well. That would mean both jet fighters. Regardless, they're all dead, and there'll be 3 units fighting back. The 2 jet fighters, or the 2 fighters, if they have any hits, it'll be on aircraft. So 2 at 6. That's 11 and a 2, so I'll lose 1 aircraft, and we'll roll the infantry for vehicles, and that also misses. So I'll lose 1 aircraft, and that will be the medium bomber. Okay, so all in all, the Italians lost everything in Sardinia, and I lost a medium bomber. So medium bombers destroyed. The 2 jet fighters land on the carrier afterwards. America goes up $1, and Italy goes down $1. 66 and 11. Okay, the next battle be in the Marshall Islands. So 2 infantry at 4, militia at 2, and then 3 strikes, 3 first strikes with coastal artillery. And I have 2 battleships at, oops, at 4 for first strike. And then 2 tactical bombers at 7, a jet fighter at 8, 2 transports at 0. And I am gonna guess, because I can't see that. I don't know if that's mountainous, but I'm just gonna consider it to be mountainous terrain. So in that case, all of the infantry I have 2 infantry and 2 marines will attack at a 1. If they roll twos, we'll just identify that and we'll correct as required if I get that far. So for 3 first strikes from the coastal artillery and 2 first strikes from the battleships. So 6, 6, and 10, so no hits there. 2 first strikes from the battleships at 4, and 7 and 9 there, so no hits there. So that's done. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 1. Okay, so we'll roll the aircraft first. So 1 at 7, 1 at 9, so that's 1 hit, and 1 at 6, that's 2 hits. So I'd assume that would be the militia and an infantry. And then 4 at 1. And lo and behold, that's another hit, so that is all 3 units. In return fire, we have 1 at 2 and 2 at 4. So 2 is a miss, and of course 2 hits here. So that will be both of the Marines. And the Marshall Islands will fall to 2 infantry. So America goes up $1 and Japan goes down $1 to 40. That will conclude all of my combat movements. We'll get into non-combat. So the 2 jet fighters will land on the aircraft carrier. I'll fix this up later, but these ships return to the battle board. This transport and destroyer will move 1, 2, 3 from a friendly port. This medium bomber will move 1, 2, 3, 4 and land in Gibraltar. The fighter will go back to Florida. The 2 infantry in New York will rail all the way to San Francisco. The infantry in western United States will move to San Francisco. The militia will join. The militia in Pacific Northwest will rail to San Francisco. And the mountain brigade will walk into San Francisco. 2 infantry in southeast Alaska will move to Alaska. 3 infantry in the Yukon will move to Alaska. The medium bomber will fly 1, 2, 3, 4, land in Hawaii. The 2 fighters will fly 1, 2, 3, land in Hawaii. The fleet in 64 will join the fleet in Sea Zone 100. The jet fighter will land, if possible, on the carrier. The 2 TAC bombers will land on the other carrier. 1 coastal sub will move to 93. 1 coastal sub will move to 94. One sub will move to 92 from 66. One sub will move to 59 from 66. One sub will move 2 spaces to 56. One sub will move from 62 to 67. And the other sub will move to 63. The destroyer will move 1, 2, 3 to 29. I believe that is all the movements. I'll fix that up after the fact. So in Sardinia there is a cavalry, 3 infantry, and 2 marines. Okay, that concludes all of the non-combat movement. We'll go to our wartime income roll. That's a 6. So 67 plus 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 73 plus 12 is 85. We'll end with 85 after we place our units. So on the map, be a heavy cruiser, an American carrier. I'll put that actually in San Francisco. 2 jet fighters will go into San Francisco. So we will upgrade 2 militia in Hawaii. And we will place 2 militia in Hawaii. We have 2 marines that'll go in Rio. And we lend lease $3 to Russia across to this minor port here. There's no interdiction there. And then our attack transport can come out of Washington and go all the way down to Sea Zone 144. That will conclude our placing of units. We have $85 to collect. As the next turn is January 1944, there's some neutrals to go on the board. I've gone ahead and placed those already. So Sweden received a fighter jet and another torpedo boat destroyer. All right, that concludes turn 15 for the USA. Thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for January 1944 with the veteran.